Autobiography of a Technology User. Back in the day, I can remember Dad bringing home the brand new VCR and trying to plug it in. It became my job to set the clock on it, and I've remained the expert in our family. I don't remember what we watched first, but I do know Strange Brew was one classic. We weren't allowed to have a gaming system at our house because Dad was convinced it would ruin our TV. Looking back, it would ruin his ability to watch whatever he wanted. Thanks for the Game Boy, Uncle Larry. Lyndale Elementary opened the first computer lab when I was in grade 7 or 8, as I remember it. The computers were glorified typewriters which we were allowed to use for word processing and typing games. There was no such thing as an internet connection, though it wouldn't be long. I really did have a computer threaten to self-destruct. This is a picture of complete strangers, but it was taken in the Lyndale Library. In grade 7, a group of 4 of us keeners were put in charge of entering every book into the computer system. It was the first time I had heard of Dewey or an ISBN. After helping my dad purchase our first home computer in my grade 10 year, I discovered computer gaming. SimCity and SimFarm software came with the computer, and I was hooked. I spent hours building cities. The internet didn't come to the farm until long after I was finished university the first time. I took my first information processing class here in 1995. It was a mandatory class composed mainly of keyboarding tests and typing assignments. Computer science in high schools has certainly come a long way since then. My first email address was created in my grade 12 journalism course. Everythingblue@hotmail.com is now defunct. It didn't survive the transition to Outlook. This is Mr. Murfanger, retired history teacher and excellent curling coach. His nickname while teaching, Mr. Movies. Because of him, I actually know how to work these projectors. We still have a few kicking around in our library basement. I bought my first desktop computer the day I enrolled in my first classes at the University of Regina. I purchased it on campus for over $2,000. The computer part is still in my apartment now, though I don't have a screen to hook it up to. MSN Messenger. This program replaced telephones in dorm life. We use Messenger to make dinner plans, check in with each other, overcome heartbreak, and celebrate moments. Very few of us had cell phones, and we didn't need them. Napster was life, and now autocorrect doesn't recognize it. It aided and abetted my hoarding tendencies, and I still have way too many music files. Other than word processing, researching social uses, I didn't use computers a lot in university. Most of my design work was to be done by hand, and most of my technical work was done on specific theater devices. I chose to take Computer Science 100, but that was to avoid Math 100. I still ended up taking the math course when I transferred into education, but both courses were pretty useless. I don't need HTML today with the prevalence of drag-and-drop editing, and I still can't create my own searchable database. As for the math course, my brother was able to do much of the work, and faster than me. He was in grade 8 at the time. Any teaching job I've been hired for has been applied for online, either through the specific division's hiring site or through www.educationcanada.com. I've interviewed over Skype, made digital copies of all my reference letters, ordered transcripts to be delivered electronically. It's all been online. I'm a Facebook addict, and I use my YouTube account for saving videos for school projects. Twitter, I have an account, but I can't call myself active. I've forgotten my password more than once. I bank online, which is so very handy. I love being able to set a bill payment in advance. That way, I can't forget to pay it, and there aren't surprises the next month. I'm a distributor for both these companies, and everything from ordering to managing my accounts is online. It has been an exercise in frustration, as neither site is very friendly, but I've gotten the hang of it now. I was beyond broke when I moved to Alberta to start my first teaching position. The TELUS store was the closest to my apartment, and I could get a phone and internet service for $0 down. I've been with TELUS since. It may not be the least expensive option now, but I keep rolling over into new phones, and TELUS does have the cutest commercials. I am a digital hoarder, scrapbooker. If I had the digital files in physical form added to my already ridiculous collection of solid materials, I'd need a new apartment just for my stash. As it is, I have 3 external hard drives and 4 portable external drives. None of them are full, but I'll keep working at it. I forgot I have a Kiva account. This assignment prompted me to find the password and update the email. I've since reinvested the money I started with. It's neat to be able to see the updates from people who get the loans. More addiction. I don't have a working TV and no real interest in getting one. I'm running out of series though. Suggestions? If Netflix isn't playing, CBC Radio likely is. I fall asleep to it and Sheila Coles wakes me up in the morning. I'm very thankful for my iPhone, since radio signals for traditional radios don't seem to penetrate apartment buildings. My iPhone is now my alarm clock, kitchen timer, stopwatch, radio, weather predictor, news gatherer. I could live without it, but life would not be as easy or fun. If it's a poor day for CBC, which does happen most Saturday afternoons, I have a book ready from the public library. Audiobooks initially saved me on the long drives between Strathmore and Moose Jaw. Now they let me read and do other things at the same time. I find I listen to different books than I will read in print. I do take out print books from the library, but I'm really bad at returning them on time. If I can't find something to read in my own library at school, I can usually find something as an audiobook. Because the library can't buy every book, I also have a monthly subscription to audible.com. Most of the books I've purchased are for pleasure. There have been a few I've wanted to vet before adding to the library at school. I love to shop, browse, research. These are my go-to sites, though certainly not the only ones. I like Etsy too, but I'm cheap and Etsy generally isn't. I use online news sources to keep up with the world, especially in my second home country of Costa Rica. I can't read everything in La Nación, but I get the gist of what's going on. A screenshot of my email this morning. My school runs on email. We sign kids up for study hall and RTI. We send in announcements by email. We communicate with parents and each other through email. We as a school also use Remind 101, Google Drive, Docs, Sites, etc. I'm currently herding 35 new Chromebooks in the library and trying to convince teachers that the Google suite of apps works just as well as PowerPoint and Excel. We would not be completely shut down as a school if the internet or electricity were shut off, but it would be a very awkward day. While I still prefer paper and pencil when I'm writing, I love how technology can enrich my work. It takes longer for me to express myself using this technology, but that's because of the plethora of options I have. I started this assignment in at least 4 different apps and programs and ended up using Explain Everything as it was comfortable and familiar. I hope it has explained everything.